What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another video. I'm Jason with JCS Reefing, and this is going to be the opening and initial setup of the new Ecotech Marine Versa dosing pump. Now I have already opened this, as you can tell, just to make sure that obviously everything was in the box and nothing was damaged. It comes extremely well packaged, as you would think with all Ecotech products. It comes with a template. This unit you can buy, I believe, 4 dosing pumps on a base station, so it has that template, and it also has a single dosing pump, which you see here, the template for that to mount it, to your wall or to your mounting board or wherever you want. Now it does come with a bunch of different plugs depending on where you live in the country, and uses the same power supply. That's kind of a cool design, that they use the same power supply and just give you all these different plugs depending on where you live in the country. For myself here, I live in Texas, which is obviously the US, so we're going to use the US plug, and all you do is you just plop it into the power supply and click it down and you're good to go. Now it comes with like a milliliter cup. I'm sure that's probably for calibration, your mounting hardware to mount it, and these hose barbs if you didn't want to utilize the push connect fittings on the bottom. Right here you can see the bracket, which is very simple design, but it's nice because it's built right onto the pump, so you don't have to try to jerry rig some type of mounting. It's right on the pump. You just mount that piece of plastic to the wall or your mounting board, like I said, and the pump slides right on. Now picking it up right out of the box, you can tell that the weight of it, really is a quality product, as you would expect from Ecotech Marine. And I just kind of turned this a little bit just to see, and there is lubricant on the line, which is really good, so that helps everything spin obviously with ease and doesn't get stuck, and that's pretty cool. Underneath you can see the push connect fittings, or if you want to go to soft tubing, you just push these barbs in and put your soft tubing on it. So that's a good design that gives a different option to people depending on what they want to use. Now obviously powering it up is pretty darn simple. You just plug it in. That's about it. And then you're actually going to use the new Mobius app to connect it. And there's 2 lights on the front, so you can know, obviously that it's getting power. Come into the Mobius app. This is relatively obviously new app, and I believe right now the Versa is the only thing that's the only thing that's going to work with Mobius as of right now. Obviously down the road, unless you're in like a beta testing, like you're a beta tester for the app, the only thing you're going to see is the Versa pump. If you were a beta tester, from what I understand, you would be able to connect it to your lights and your pumps if they were compatible, and so on and so forth. But the setup, as you can see, is super simple. Give your tank a name, which mine is JCS Reefing, and then your Versa shows up. It's going to do any firmware updates if it needs to, and so on and so forth. Now the app itself, this is kind of my first time, using it, and it's super simple. Everything is very straightforward, which is great. I love that there's no tricks about it. It's just really simple. It gives you a ton of different features, whatever you want to use the pump for. You can, set your container volume, how much is in your container. You can, basically name whatever you're going to be dosing. For myself here, I'm going to be running my calcium reactor with it as a feed pump. And I'm not 100% sure if it's really designed to do this. I have heard that it is, so this is what I'm going to give it, a try. And down the road in the future, I'll do a long-term review on it and see how it works out. Now, obviously, it gives you different type of units. You can use standard or metric, so that's good. Obviously, they would do that for, other people purchasing it in other countries. Now another cool thing is obviously you can do feed mode and a thing called scenes, where you can create a scene if you want to. So let's say if you wanted to do a scene of water change, you could put water change and it would do your water change for you. If you want to do any type of creation that you want to do with the pump, you can, which is actually really cool. So that's another cool feature of the app. Right here, you can do your customization schedule, what time you want it to dose, how much you want it to dose, so on and so forth. I mean, some of this is pretty understandable, self-explanatory, but I figured I would just kind of go through it and give everyone kind of a rundown of what the app somewhat looks like. You can do, different type of doses. You could do 50 milliliters for 10 minutes. That's like an instant dose. So let's say if you were running alkalinity, your alkalinity dropped, and your BRS calculator saying add so much alkalinity over a certain amount of time, you can spread that out. So that's a pretty cool design that you can, if your tank's running low, you can just add a little bit and it'll do it in an instant dose. To do a manual dose, you can just hit that button and it'll actually start feeding the line. So if you needed to maybe get air out of the line or anything like that, reverse the line for whatever reason, you can do that as well in a manual type setting. Now this is kind of an example of an instant dose. So if you were low on alkalinity and you wanted to do a 30 milliliter dose, within 10 seconds or 10 minutes, it gives you the option to do that. So that's a really, really cool design. You can just hit that instant dose, boom, and it doses your tank to bring it back up to what it should be. Now, as far as the specifications of the dimensions, you can see them right here. It is a very well-sized pump, super heavy, which obviously shows your quality of Ecotech products. And I'm really excited to get this on the tank, so stick around for the next video later on where I can connect this to my calcium reactor. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and happy reefing. Cheers.